Hello everybody, my name is Amanda and you are watching Artica Mom YouTube channel. I'm an artist and I am going to start doing tutorials on YouTube. So on Instagram and Facebook I do reels, sped up, quick, inspirational, artistic videos, but I want to start trying to do more tutorials. So this is my first one. Recently I started a texture challenge. It's a 24-day challenge. It's not a daily challenge, but we are going to do 24 mini canvases and make textured pieces such as this each time we work together. I have 24 mini canvases, as you can see, and I did the first challenge yesterday. I would say it didn't go very smooth. It was what made me want to do the tutorials on YouTube, because it's very difficult to take a 24-minute video and cut it down to 3 minutes or less for Instagram and Facebook and make it useful for a tutorial. So we're doing them here now. But what I realized when I'm done with my piece and it's dry, I don't really have anywhere to put it, except for on this piece of cardboard, which these canvases came on. Amazingly, I've been able to keep them intact on this piece of cardboard since I got them, which was actually a long time ago, before Christmas. What I want to do today is talk about what we're going to do after we're done with the pieces. How are we going to display them? Where are we going to put them? What are we going to do with them? I started thinking, where do I want them? How do I want to display them? And I thought it'd be cool to put them on a canvas, but in a different way. So I have this 11 by 14 canvas that I painted gray at one time. It's just been sitting in my basement. I am going to remove these staples and take the frame of the canvas, flip it around, and turn it into a frame for these mini canvases. That's what we're going to work through today. If you would like to do this for your own mini canvases in this texture challenge series, please do, and please share with me. I love it when people share stuff with me. And I love it. I love hearing that you've been inspired by my work. So please share. All right, so let's get started. So I've moved away my mini canvases. This is the 11 by 14 canvas. I'm going to turn it upside down, and I have a flathead screwdriver that I'm going to use to pull the staples out. So I will just get my flathead screwdriver in there and pop that baby out. And I'll just talk a little bit while I do this about my, I need a needle nose pliers to just kind of get this other side out. So I'm just gonna pop that out. The reason for starting, or I guess returning to my YouTube channel, because I've had this channel actually for a very long time, I just don't really use it. I'm reviving it so that I can do these longer tutorials for people who actually want to follow along, get some tips, and get more guidance as we go through the texture challenge. So the texture challenge is really, I want to do it personally so that I can learn more about texture, be better at texture. I've been doing texture, various texture art for, I don't know, at least 4 years. I don't claim to be an expert in any way, shape, or form. I'm doing this challenge on mini canvases just so I can learn more about the recording process, just become better and share that journey with my followers and help, you know, maybe inspire them and have you all participate as well and get better at doing textures. So I chose the mini canvases too because I've actually done a lot of texture art on very large canvases, and I wanted to challenge myself to work on a small surface and see if I could get better, you know, doing that. Okay, so I have finished removing all the staples, so now really it's just a matter of unfolding the canvas. And the cool thing about these canvases, this is a cheap canvas, I got it from Walmart. It doesn't look so good on this side, but when you flip it over, it has like a pretty cool little frame. So what I thought we could do with this is trim up the canvas and put it in like this, paint this, paint the frame, and then have it to put our mini canvases in. So that's kind of what we're going to do. All right, so there we go. And now the next step is going to be, like, I don't want this gray here, so I'm going to have this be the back of it. So I have a handy dandy little staple gun, and I'm just going to staple this to the back of this frame. Yeah, boom. 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 Okay, so now we have this cute little framed canvas thing here. And basically, as we finish these, we will put them on display in here. But I want this frame to be green. I've got two brushes, 1-inch flat brush and like a 3/4 inch flat brush. I have water, which we'll be using for this process. And I also have a reusable paper towel here that I'll be using to wipe my brush. And so I want this to be mostly green. So I have phthalo green here, which we'll be using. And then I'm going to mix ocean green with just a little bit of ultramarine blue and a little bit of yellow, because I want to make a slightly darker green for the inside of my canvas. And this dark green is going to be the frame. That's what we're doing. We're going to be using a piece of paper as my palette. So I think we'll do the inside first, and that way if we get any of this inside on the frame, we can cover it with a darker green. So like I said, ocean green. Hopefully make sure that I mix enough to cover the whole inside. My ultramarine blue, pop a little dot like that. I just guess, you guys. I just guess. So as far as proportions go, I just guess. A little yellow on there. I might want more yellow, but for now we're going to start with that. I'm trying to just get a good kind of tealish, greenish color. Okay, so I have a mixing stick here. So I'm just going to kind of mix this up. We'll see what we come up with. Oh, that's kind of perfect. I actually love that a lot. But I'm also afraid I won't have enough to cover the background, so I'm going to add more. So we're going to go a little bit more of that, about the same amount that I did last time. Another little dollop of blue and a little dollop of yellow. And we're going to just mix that some more. This looks like this should be enough. I love this green. It's perfect. Bring it up to the camera a little better. I love it. Okay, so I'm going to use my 1-inch flat brush, and I'm going to paint the inside. So I'm going to dampen the brush with some water. I will rinse it out, or kind of dab it off on my towel so it's not soaking wet. And I'm going to take the paint off my mixing stick first and start putting that down. Don't want to waste any paint. And then I'll wipe my mixing stick off. I don't know if this actually is a mixing stick. I mean, that's totally what I use it for all the time. But, you know, maybe it has a different use. If anyone knows, feel free to let me know. Okay, so we're just going to paint the inside. Pretty basic. Nothing special. So I've used up all the paint on my card, and I'm just going to keep kind of adding water, to my brush to kind of spread that paint around to make sure I cover it. Because, like, one of the things I really don't like about mixing paints is that, you know, if you don't mix enough, then you don't have enough to cover. And I'm so bad at proportions for mixing paints, so I like to make sure I have enough for the whole thing. And if I don't have enough for the whole thing, then sometimes I've got to mix, you know, a whole new batch and cover everything if they don't match. So the struggle is real. Tell me about it. If you're an artist, do you have this struggle as well? of mixing paints, or are you a master paint mixer and you want to share your genius with me? I'd love to hear about it. Okay, so I finished the inside painting, and now I'm going to switch to my smaller flat brush. I'm continuing with my piece of paper here. I'm not mixing this color, so I'm not super worried about how much I put on the paper. I'm just gonna start with, you know, like a quarter size dot, and I think we'll just start painting. And we might have to do 2 coats to make sure we get that dark green that I'm looking for. And of course we'll have to be careful here. So I'm just gonna paint around the whole thing. I'm gonna do the easy parts first and come in later and get closer to the light canvas. That's a cool name too. So I'm gonna clean up some of this dark green here. I just got my brush wet, and I'm just gonna kind of like actually blend it, wipe my brush off. I'm just running along the inside and just kind of like scooping up some of that dark green. I didn't plan for this, but this is what we're doing. So if you haven't started yet, use my mistake and learn from it. Paint the frame before you staple the canvas back to the back of the frame, because otherwise, if you don't, you have to have a very steady hand. And I do actually have a pretty steady hand, but I was not very careful with this. So I'm just kind of, with a wet brush, just kind of wiping that dark green off, and that'll maybe give it kind of a cool fuzzy like blended edge too, so I actually don't mind that at all. It's kind of cool actually. We'll see how it looks when it dries. But, and I'm thinking I won't need to do a second coat on the inside there. It looks dark enough. I am gonna go around the outside though, so I'm gonna just turn this around like this and get these outside edges. And actually, I probably won't give it another coat because I'm thinking we're gonna add texture to the frame before the end of the project. Okay, so I have finished painting the frame, and it's not dry yet, but if you can imagine, we'll start at the top left. So this is not oriented right, but this is the top left if it were oriented right. And we will start putting our mini canvases on display in this frame as we go. If you want to join along, follow, like, and subscribe my YouTube channel, Artica Mom. If you just want daily inspiration, head on over to Facebook or Instagram and follow me there. Artica Mom. ARTACAMOM. Artica Mom. Thank you, and have a good night.